What's your problem today?
Nothing. Just in the spirit of things. With the film we watched this week.
Yeah? Okay. I can see it.
What did we watch?
This week we watched Monster Brawl.
Yes, a movie depicting some of the most famous monsters brawling it out to a battle to death.
Yep. It's set up like a pay-per-view style wrestling match. It's kind of a satire on WWE, and as well as being kind of a horror movie of these monsters duking it out to the death.
Yes, it also satires like other professional fighting events, giving backgrounds and stories on the characters. So, what did you think of the costumes?
Costumes were pretty good, for the most part. I really liked some of the designs on a lot of the creatures. Cyclops had a really neat design. Where his eyes should have been, they were kind of like sewn shut. Apparently his backstory was that he made this deal with the devil, or Hades as he called him, and to gain his eye back or something so he could see into the future. It was rather interesting. There was some other neat designs as well. I liked the design of she's known as Vampire Girl, or Lady Vampire.
Lady Vampire. Get the names right.
Oh, close enough.
Not even in the same wrestling ring.
Whatever. I thought she had a relatively neat design, and her backstory, like the little short film that happened before the wrestling match, had a really good homage to Vlad the Impaler. The house that she was staying in, the guy walks up and he's like, "This was owned by Vlad the Impaler," and she's like, "Well, I've lived here forever," or something like that, which I thought that was an interesting change of pace as opposed to saying, this is owned by Dracula. So, I like that aspect. It was definitely unique.
Another thing I thought was unique was when the mummy talked. It's all in
Hieroglyphics?
I have a slipped, okay?
Quit spitting on me.
No.
Ugh.
How did your arm keep getting taped? Voices, you gotta remind me to do that.
So, what else do you want to know?
What did you think of the fighting sequences?
Fighting was, it wasn't top notch or anything. It wasn't like the Raid Redemption by any means.
It's not supposed to be.
No. There was definitely some interesting wins. There was some interesting moves that they had. I liked some of the fighting, I guess, but it I don't think it was like top notch fighting or anything. It was campy, and it's
a very campy movie.
That's what I was going for, and I enjoyed it for that.
All right. What did you think of the announcers?
The announcers were all right. I don't know. You know, something happens to one of them, and I thought it did a good job at staying true to what happened to him throughout, near the end of the film. You know, they brought a couple of laughs here and there, but really they're just kind of there to be the announcers. They didn't really bring a whole lot to the movie.
The problem I did have for the movie, it keeps acting like there's this great big build-up. Besides the fighting, the one guy's the groundskeeper going, "Evil has been unleashed that you don't know." It is this big build-up, and they never go anywhere with it.
Well, kind of. It does. To a small point. I mean, it didn't really go anywhere with it, but after Zombie Man, yeah, the zombies, but that's not quite as big as you thought, yeah.
It just kind of shows up, and then there's another thing. And that was the main thing that should have been the main thing. Oh well.
But yeah, I really like this movie. A lot more than I thought I would. From what I understand, it didn't do well on IMDb. It has a relatively low rating, which is unfortunate because I feel it deserves a little higher. Maybe, you know, it's about a 3.7. I think it deserves at least a 5. You know, it's a decent film. It's entertaining to watch, very campy, but it was a lot of fun.
Interesting. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Girl number 1 and girl number 2 were hot. That's all I've got to say. They were pretty good to look at when they were on screen.
Yeah. The parts by Jimmy Hart and Stephen Nash, ex-wrestlers in this movie, was neat to see.
Yeah. I don't know who those are, but okay.
Well, since you like this movie, I'm going to have to try harder next week.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, tune in then to see what torture I have for him.